She knocked over my trash can again. I heard the crash, ran out, and saw her standing there with that smug smile. "This is HOA property," she said, kicking the lid into my yard. "You don't get to junk up the street." I clenched my jaw. I had just picked that trash up yesterday after the same stunt. My daughter was watching from the window, and that made it worse. I kept calm, but inside, something burned. "Ma'am, this is my land. My trash can. You don't get to touch it," I told her. She laughed like it was the funniest thing she had ever heard. "Your land. Honey, I'll have the board throw you out by next month." She pulled a folded paper from her pocket and slapped it on my front door. A fake notice. Red letters, "Final warning. Violations recorded." I ripped it off. No HOA logo. Just a Word doc printed at home. My neighbor peeked out from across the street but quickly shut his blinds. Everyone was scared of her. She had bullied half the block into silence. She leaned closer to me, lowering her voice. "Move your cans again, and I'll make sure the city fines you into the ground." I wanted to explode, but instead I said one thing that made her smirk fade. "You really don't know who you're messing with." She blinked, tilted her head, and walked off without another word. What she didn't know. I wasn't just some random homeowner. I had been trained to deal with people a lot scarier than her. And this time, I was done playing nice. That night, I set the new can out, bigger, heavier, locked shut. She didn't know what was inside. I sat on my porch, lights off, waiting. Sure enough, around midnight, her porch light flicked on. Her shadow crept across the street like she owned the whole block. She strutted right up to my driveway, heels clicking, and grabbed the handle. The second she yanked, the whole thing shook. She frowned, pulled harder. Then, click. A hidden camera inside the lid lit up red. Her face froze in the glow. She didn't know I had wired the can with motion sensors and a full surveillance rig. Every second was being live-streamed straight to a secure drive. She hissed under her breath. "Stupid piece of junk," and shoved it onto the curb. She didn't know I was recording her every move, with audio. But she wasn't done. She took out a spray can and started tagging the side of my new bin with the words, "HOA violation." My blood boiled, but I didn't move. Patience. Let her bury herself deeper. Then came the twist. She pulled out her phone, made a call, and whispered, "Yeah, it's clear. Bring the truck." A black tow truck rolled up out of nowhere and backed into my driveway like it had every right to be there. My stomach dropped. She wasn't just knocking cans anymore, she was trying to steal my property. And that's when I smiled in the dark. She had no idea the real surprise was still waiting inside that can. The tow truck driver jumped out, big guy in a hoodie, no uniform, no badge. He didn't even look around. Just hooked the cable to my trash can like it was his routine job. Karen folded her arms, chin high, giving orders like a queen. "Take it to the impound. He'll learn." The guy nodded, started lifting. But the second the can tilted, a piercing alarm ripped through the street. Red and blue strobes flashed from inside the can, lighting up the night like a police cruiser. Karen stumbled back, shrieking. The driver panicked, dropping the chain. Neighbors' porch lights flicked on one by one. Curtains moved. Phones came out. Everyone saw her, caught in the glow of my trap. Karen stammered, "Turn it off. Turn it off right now." I finally stepped off my porch, calm as ice. "Funny thing, you called a tow truck to steal my property. But what you didn't know is this can is wired straight to the county sheriff's system." Her face drained of color. "You're lying." I held up my phone. On the screen was a live feed of her, crystal clear, tagged with time, date, and GPS coordinates. "This goes straight to law enforcement. And guess what? You just committed vandalism, theft attempt and trespassing, all on camera. The driver muttered, "Lady, you didn't say nothing about cops." He unhooked the truck and bolted, tires screeching as he sped off. Karen stood frozen, fists shaking, eyes darting at the neighbors recording her. She tried to shout over them. "He's lying. This isn't even his land." I took a slow step closer, and said the line that made her knees weaken. "I own this street, Karen. Every inch of it." Her mouth fell open. "You, what?" she stuttered, her voice cracking for the first time. The cameras, the alarms, the tow truck driver peeling out, it was all spinning too fast for her. I didn't blink. Check the county records. This development. The HOA never legally filed for authority. Which means, this land still falls under the original deed. I tapped my chest. And that deed belongs to me. Gasps rolled through the neighborhood. A couple of neighbors who'd been hiding finally stepped out onto their porches. One of them whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Wait, if that's true, she's been faking all the HOA rules." Karen's face twisted. No, he's making it up. I run this neighborhood. I am the board." "Funny," I said, pulling a folded envelope from my pocket. I had been waiting for this moment. Because the county sent me a letter confirming the HOA here is dissolved. You've been posting fake notices, harassing homeowners, and pocketing fees that were never legal. Her knees actually buckled. She grabbed the fence post to steady herself. The neighbors' cameras zoomed in. One woman laughed out loud. Another man muttered, "So all those fines she made me pay." Karen snapped, screaming, "Shut up. All of you. He's lying." She lunged at me, trying to snatch the letter out of my hand. But that's when headlights washed over the street. Real ones. A sheriff's cruiser pulled up slow, siren off but lights flickering. The deputy stepped out, hand resting on his holster. Karen froze, lips trembling. She had no idea who was about to step out of that car. Because it wasn't just any deputy, it was someone who knew me personally. The deputy door swung open, and Sheriff Daniels stepped out. Broad shoulders, calm stare, same man I served beside overseas. Karen's jaw dropped when he walked straight past her and clapped me on the back. "Good to see you again, brother." "Got your call," he said, his voice carrying across the street. Karen pointed wildly. "He's the criminal. He's stealing property, lying about land ownership, arrest him." Sheriff Daniels just raised an eyebrow. "Funny. Because I've already reviewed the footage from his cameras. Every second of you knocking over his cans, vandalizing his property, hiring a tow truck without authority. That's 3 charges, minimum." The neighbors erupted, some cheering, some shouting about the fake fines she'd collected. Phones were out everywhere, recording her meltdown. She spun in circles, shrieking, "You people don't understand, I run this neighborhood." But Daniels shut it down cold. "No, ma'am. This neighborhood doesn't have an HOA anymore. Which means you've been impersonating authority. That's a felony." He pulled out the cuffs. "Turn around." Karen's screams cut through the night as he snapped them on her wrists. The tow truck driver was already long gone, but the sheriff promised a warrant was on its way. I looked up at my daughter in the window. She pressed her hands to the glass, smiling for the first time in weeks. For her, that was worth everything. Neighbors crossed the street, patting my shoulder, thanking me. One man whispered, "You saved us all from her." I shook my head. No. I just reminded her, and everyone else, what freedom really means. You don't mess with a man's land. Not here. Not ever. As the cruiser drove off with Karen screaming in the back seat, I let the words settle into the night. I didn't fight for this country to be told I can't park a trash can on my own driveway. And for the first time in a long time, the block was quiet.